As the flagship sedan in Honda's North American portfolio, the Accord has a pretty important role for Honda. And in a world where a lot of other manufacturers are abandoning sedans, Honda is not, which is why I'm here at a studio in Long Beach, California with the completely redesigned 2023 Accord. The company says it has bolder styling, a more premium interior, and an even more electrified powertrain under the hood. So let's go ahead and take a first look. So before we start talking about the sleek new exterior design of the Accord, I want to show you guys what's underneath the hood, because the previous generation offered a choice of 3 different powertrains. However, Honda has dropped the higher output 2-liter turbo from the option list, which means the base model Accords, the LX and EX trims, will get the company's 1.5-liter turbo direct injection 4-cylinder, making around 192 horsepower and 192 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with a CVT. However, most trims, if you guys go for the Sport and Up trim, will actually come as a hybrid. That's right, Honda is kind of following the same philosophy that they did with the CR-V. They want over 50% of Accord sales to be hybridized or electrified, which means we have the same 2-liter naturally aspirated direct injection 4-cylinder with VTEC paired up with their 2-motor hybrid system. The power output is essentially the same as what we drove in the new CR-V last month, 204 horsepower combined and up to 247 pound-feet of torque. Now, this powertrain is paired with kind of like a combination of a 2-speed reduction gear transmission with an eCVT. It's an interesting transmission, and unlike some competitors where they still are offering sedans but are offering all-wheel drive, Honda decided not to go the all-wheel drive route. The Accord has never offered all-wheel drive, and this model will remain front-wheel drive. They aren't ready to talk about fuel economy or performance or curb weight figures just yet, but you should know that this is the powertrain that most people are going to buy because it comes on the Sport and Up trims. Honda will offer a choice of 6 different trims, and their fuel efficiency of this model will likely be almost 50% better versus the top 2-liter turbo engine from the prior generation. But let's go ahead and close up the hood here and talk about the exterior styling for this all-new 11th generation Accord. Now, Honda's been kind of teasing this vehicle for the past couple of weeks, and I have to say, seeing it in the flesh in this beautiful shade of radiant red in this top-of-the-line touring trim, you can really see the kind of new level of elegance that Honda is going. It's still kind of a restrained design, but that's kind of the way the Accord has always been. All models will come with full LED headlights. You can see the Touring has an LED daytime running light, LED low and high beams. However, Honda, it looks like they've removed the fog lights off of the top trims, which some of you may miss. I kind of think that this is a little bit of a cleaner look, but I know some of you really prefer the design or the look with fog lights. You can see the lower front splitter has kind of like a black painted accent, along with these well-integrated parking sensors. The grille is much larger this year. You can see it kind of has like a really interesting kind of squared off design at the bottom with the well-integrated Honda logo here, which integrates their next generation Honda sensing. And overall, you can see in the design, the Accord definitely looks wider, it looks lower. It's built off of their next generation platform that it also shares with the new generation Honda Civic. And then looking around the side profile of this vehicle, Honda actually mentioned that the overall length has been stretched by about 2.8 inches, which means this vehicle is a little over 195 inches long according to their spec sheet. It definitely looks long. Remember, this is the biggest vehicle that they make, so it's technically their flagship. And you can see there's this really bold character line that kind of goes right from the fender over here all the way to the rear of the vehicle. It's kind of just a little bit of a cleaner design. It's slightly less busy. And then the wheels for this vehicle, you can see Honda will offer a choice of either a 17 or a 19-inch wheel. The Touring grade, you can see here, has the 19-inch wheel option. It's kind of like got this two-tone design with the black inner spokes with the machine finish. Wrapped in a 235/40 series tires. They definitely fill out the wheel wells nicely, and I also love kind of this lower area over here where you have this kind of painted gloss black splitter along the side sill, along the front. It kind of gives the Accord a little bit of a sportier design theme. Now, sadly, there is no panoramic roof. I was kind of hoping Honda would offer that feature, but a sunroof will be standard on most of the higher trims and up. There's also these well-integrated turn signals in the actual side mirrors. And then coming around the rear of the vehicle, the rear design definitely got a lot sleeker this year. In fact, when I look at this design, it reminds me a lot of the current generation Audi A7, a very beautiful German sedan. It kind of has this really nice sport back design, although this is a conventional sedan, and you can see this model here being the top of the line Touring is also a hybrid. So you don't really need to call this the Accord Hybrid because most trims will have the hybrid powertrain, so Honda just wants you to call it the Accord Touring. You can see you've got a full-length LED taillight design, which also includes an LED turn signal along with the LED brake light, the LED taillight. It kind of has this continuous light that doesn't quite connect the two taillights together, You can see the Honda logo there. It's actually on the small side. It's kind of surprising to see the small H logo here, where a lot of brands are going much larger. Underneath here, you can see this being a hybrid. There are no exposed exhaust tips. Instead, we kind of just have a clean, flush rear bumper design with these well-integrated parking sensors. Then opening up the trunk area, Honda actually already mentioned the cargo area of this, or the cargo size of this vehicle. It has 16.7 cubic feet, which they claim is the best in the class. And you can see here, this is a big trunk. So if you're going to do a conventional sedan body style, you want to have all this space. The seats still fold down in a 60/40 manner, which is nice. And then Honda doesn't include a spare tire. Instead, you just get a fix-a-flat kit with the hybrid powertrain. So as the flagship sedan in Honda's lineup, you guys are probably wanting to see what the new Accord's interior is like. Now, first of all, let me get in here and settle into these seats, which, by the way, this hybrid touring has really comfortable, soft, supple seats. I really like this kind of gray, almost like beige color interior, which looks good with the radiant red. These seats are also heated and ventilated. You have a 10-way power driver's seat over here with 2-person memory. Sadly, only just a 4-way power passenger on the passenger side. But once I get in and shut the door has a nice solid sounding thunk, which reminds me a lot of the other Honda vehicles that are built on this same architecture. Now, first settling into this interior and kind of taking it all in, because this design, we've seen it before on other Honda products, but you can see the Accord has some nice key updates and upgrades here. You can see the dash follows the same tradition where you have this continuous vent here, although the metal inlay here actually has a slightly different pattern to it. You still have this satisfying clicky feel to the actual dashboard vents when you want to adjust the positioning of it. In terms of the materials, you can see the dash has a soft touch injection molded plastic on the upper portion. There's this really nice padded area here with this same leather material with stitching on this lower part. Along here of the center console, it has the same thing, which again gives us a very premium feel to it. The door panel, as you come along over here, has a soft touch injection molded plastic, which has a nice grading to it. You can see it's also padded leather on this portion here, more padded areas here where I'd rest my elbow, a little bit of storage down here in the storage pocket here and the lower area, and then the windows. The front windows are one touch automatic up and down, and then the rear, however, sadly are not one touch. I would have preferred Honda do all 4 one touch, especially on their highest trim. Now, looking at the steering wheel, you can see this is the same steering wheel that we saw on the new Civic. It offers a manual tilt and telescoping position, which offers a good amount of adjustability and range. And the beauty about the new Accord is every model, including the base LX trim, will get the larger 10.2-inch fully digital instrument panel. So that's something that you can't even get, for example, on the new CR-V, and you have to get the high trims of, let's say, the new Pilot. I like how Honda makes that standard. And then most trims, if you guys go for the Sport and Up trims, will also have their newest and largest display ever in a Honda. This is their 12.3-inch fully digital touchscreen display. This is the first Honda to also implement a Google Assistant built right in, so you can also do Google voice commands, and it's also the first Honda to get wireless over-the-air updates. As you can see, it also has wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. This is essentially the technology in the infotainment that we've been waiting for Honda to add for quite some time, and it definitely looks great. This is actually a bigger screen that we find in something like the Acura TLX, which kind of shares a platform with this vehicle, so it's kind of interesting to see. Now, looking at the rest of the center stack here, you can see it has a traditional shifter, surprisingly, for the eCVT or the reduction gear transmission. You have your drive mode selector here. This button here should be able to access the hybrid settings. We can see your hybrid gauges and whatnot. You have an electronic parking brake, some piano black plastic. You have a wireless phone charging pad here, and then you can see 2 USB-C charging ports. This is the first Honda to get only USB-C charging ports in the interior. No other Honda has where it's just all USB-Cs. And then let me come back to this infotainment system here, because there's my phone with the CarPlay, and I really love this feature that Honda also added. You can see it's doing a split screen design where I can put like my radio information, your energy flow and whatnot, along with just a compass. However, if you push this little area on the screen, just tap that, you can see it expands the size to a full screen. I love that. A lot of other manufacturers give you that option, but it's buried in different menus where you have to go there and change the split screen view. I love how Honda just gives me just an expandable view that I can just tap there. You can see it's very quick, it's very snappy. It also has built-in Google Maps right there. You can see it's basically just like your tablet. This is like a really early pre-production car, and it's actually working really well, and the graphics look just like what I'd find on my computer. So I love this. Honda says that if you don't go for the touring version, you're gonna get the same 12.3-inch display on the Sport and Up, but you won't have the built-in Google. So the icons will look slightly different along with the GPS. This is the only trim to get the Google Maps. It also has the Google Assistant, so I can say things like, hey Google, turn on my cooled seat.
Okay, turning on the seat cooling for the driver.
And you can see my cooled seat came on. There are 3 different levels of cooled seat along with 3 different levels of heated seat, which again are features you expect. You also get a 6-inch heads-up display that's included on the Touring trim, which the old Accord kind of had a heads-up display as well, but it's nice to see Honda kind of throwing in all that technology. You also are going to notice there's a very small volume knob here, which is kind of nice, which also has a power button. And then if you guys are using this as a touchscreen, Honda even included this little ledge here where I can kind of use my thumb and I can stabilize if I want to go through the different settings here. This is actually a really good idea because sometimes I've noticed with some of these cars, I'm like sitting here messing with the screen and my hand starts to get tired from just kind of holding it up. So that's kind of like a small thing, but it's nice to see Honda kind of sweating the details. Above me here, you can see it's got a woven headliner material with just a standard sunroof. I was really disappointed to see that Honda didn't put a pano roof, but at least it does have a regular sunroof. But overall, the interior feels pretty premium. It has all the tech that I'd expect, including a 12-speaker Bose stereo system, and it also has really nice interior materials that are kind of bringing, again, the Accord into premium car territory. And it kind of makes me wonder, when is Acura going to put this screen in the TLX? Because it is just a really nice addition, and it makes this car feel way nicer versus the previous generation. Now, checking out the back seat of the all-new Honda Accord, sadly, I don't have final figures just yet in terms of the rear seat legroom, but the previous generation actually had a pretty large back seat. I think it had around 39 inches of legroom. This feels pretty similar. Getting in and shutting the door, you can hear the door has that same solid sounding thunk. Materials back here are still the same actually. They carried over with the soft touch injection molded plastic with the leather along the door panels. This touring grade also includes 3-level heated rear seats, which is definitely nice. You also get features like rear seat air vents and then 2 USB-C charging ports back here, which is again very important. Sadly, just 1 storage pocket here on the passenger side, and then the floor is not completely flat, which kind of would have been nice, although considering the fact that this doesn't offer all-wheel drive, it has no need for that drive shaft tunnel. Looking over here, you can see, fold this down, there's a nice large armrest that has 2 cup holders. It's nice and padded, and really for somebody like me, the headroom actually feels a little bit tight for somebody that's 5'7", so I imagine somebody who's over 6 feet might get kind of close to hitting their roof or their head on the roof. But overall, the back seat is definitely larger versus a Civic, and it has most of the features that I would expect, especially when you kind of go into this price category. So with almost every other manufacturer abandoning sedans for crossovers, it's pretty refreshing to see Honda sticking with the sedan. And with sales of the Accord last year totaling over 200,000 units in the US, it's pretty easy to see why the Accord continues to be a very important model in Honda's North American portfolio. After spending some time just staring at this new version, let me know in the comments section below what you think of the design. I really like the way it looks at the rear, where it invokes a lot of Audi A7, like I said earlier. The fact that Honda did discontinue the 2-liter turbo is kind of sad, but the company said that only about 20% of customers actually bought the 2-liter turbo, and I suspect with all of that torque of the hybrid powertrain, nearly 250 pound-feet, most of you are probably not going to notice that loss of the 2-liter turbo, but you are going to really appreciate the improvement in fuel efficiency, which again, Honda is pushing to go toward electrification. And with most trims coming with the hybrid powertrain, I think people are going to like that. They're also really going to like the new interior. I love the 12.3-inch display with the new software, with the over-the-air updates. It's kind of the interior that I suspect Honda is going to be implementing across all of their new models as we kind of go forward into the next decade. But with all that said, if you guys are looking to purchase this new Accord, it will be heading into Honda showrooms by January of this year, and we haven't, or of next year, and we haven't. They haven't talked about pricing just yet of this new Accord. The current model starts at around $26,500 for the base version. The hybrid's like around $1,000 more. A fully loaded hybrid Touring in the previous generation came in at just under $40,000. So I suspect this new one here will probably be around the same realm. I'm going to say just under $30,000 for the base version, going into a little over $40,000 for this model, which again, new cars are getting more expensive, but Honda has definitely thrown in a lot of technology and prestige into this new version to kind of justify that. I am just sad that they did discontinue the 2-liter and they aren't offering all-wheel drive. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on this 2023 Honda Accord hybrid Touring. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.